Rise and shine, y'all. I wanted to show you what a day at Redleaf looked like, so let's get into it. Full disclaimer, I am really not a morning person. It takes me quite a while to get into the swing of the morning, but there are a few things I do to help me get elevated and in a good headspace for the start of the day. I am on a bit of a health and fitness journey. I am trying to get stronger and a bit more snatched for the growing season. So I start with my daily weigh in and just check in and see how my body is doing, how my body is feeling. Not too shabby. Now I actually get into preparing myself for the day, brushing my teeth, refreshing myself. This week in particular is pretty special here because my partner is actually away on a trip, so I have to manage and hold down the entire fort by myself. So I've been making sure to take extra care of myself in the morning to be like really prepped and ready for the day, just pamper myself and making myself feel good. But my day truly does not begin until I've had my homemade matcha latte. I'm still pretty much half asleep up until I get that first sip. Ah, I'm alive. Before taking on all the chores that I have to get done throughout the day, I really want to make sure that my body, my mind, and my spirit feel grounded and aligned so that I can really get the most out of my day. So, I've been getting into the practice of doing some morning yoga to get my blood pumping, to get myself loosened up so I don't feel absolutely stiff before getting everything I need to get done. Managing a farm on your own can be very overwhelming, especially when taking on everything that's happening in the world, also. It's just an overwhelming time overall. So, I think it is so important that we as individuals take the time to nurture ourselves, to nourish our inner gardens, to prioritize our peace, our mental health, and our overall well being. Growth therapy is a great option that can integrate seamlessly into your daily routine. They accept a wide range of insurances and sessions are super affordable. There's no subscription required, you just pay for the sessions you attend, which helps normalize flexible and accessible care. Your well being is so important, and growth therapy makes it so easy to nurture your inner garden. Mental health support has been so grounding in my own day to day life, I really hope you try and cultivate your own. Now let's get into this garden. The very first thing I had to do was make sure that everything was doing okay. I did just plant our first round of cool crops like broccoli, cabbages, kale, leafy greens. Really wanted to make sure that everything was doing all right, especially in this very tender stage. I set out a sprinkler to make sure that everything got a good watering before the heat of the day set in. Once the water was going, I checked on the garden greenhouse to see how my other seedlings were doing. We have hot crops growing like eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, and marigolds. I gave everything a really nice water before checking in on the rest of the garden. This is one of my favorite times of year as everything is starting to bloom and put out the spring flowers. It really is just a special and vibrant time. Once I was done with my rounds in the garden, it was time to check on the chickens. I just recently rebuilt their chicken coop and run, and so far, Olive and the ladies seem to really be vibing with it. I really love how it turned out. They have so much more space to peck around, scratch their scratch. My morning routine is usually just making sure they get their morning scratch, make sure their food and water is replenished for the next few days, and definitely making sure if we have any eggs. That pretty much wraps up everything with the chickens and the garden, so now it was time to check in on the greenhouses. Like I mentioned earlier, my partner is away on a trip, and for those who don't know, my partner is actually the founder of Redleaf Exotics, one of the leading carnivorous plant nurseries in the US, where he specializes in these really special plants called nepenthes. I usually have to go in the morning to make sure that everything is nice, moist, and well watered. These plants are pretty high maintenance, so I definitely feel a little bit of pressure making sure that everything holds out okay while my partner is away. This collection is literally his pride and joy, so I definitely want to make sure that everything is well taken care of. Early last year, we finished building these new state of the art commercial greenhouses, and we were able to upgrade a lot of our automation. So, the routine is really just going through and making sure none of the plants have dried out, making sure the lush sphagnum moss on top of a lot of the pots are nice and moist. This process of making sure everything is watered can take anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. I don't usually do a heavy watering every single day. I usually wait maybe 5 to 6 days because too much water can definitely be a problem too. Once I finish my rounds in the greenhouse, I head back inside to make myself a smoothie. We are in the early stages of the growing season here at Redleaf, so I had to run out and actually pick up some more materials to get some of our gardens refreshed and started, like garden soil and mulch. At midday, it's usually pretty warm outside, honestly, too warm outside to do anything in the gardens, so I went in for a nap. We love a good power nap. Once I felt rested enough, I went to make myself some lunch, so I actually had enough energy for what I was planning on doing this evening. Once the garden season gets going, my main priority in the kitchen is to make something heavy in protein and that's very easy and quick to make. So I usually opt for eggs of some kind because my chickens are giving us so many eggs, so why not use these eggs with another protein like salmon, chicken, or steak, some avocado, and some toast. I usually want my meals to be done within like 10 to 15 minutes because by this point of the day, I'm just ready to get outside and garden. Abundance! Oh my god, I wish you guys could smell this video. This was so good and exactly what I needed before getting out in that garden. The evening is my favorite time in the garden. The weather is absolutely gorgeous. The light is pristine. The first thing I did was water some freshly planted plants in this new bed that I started. Then I went over to actually replenish an existing bed because she needed a facelift. She was getting a bit neglected and left behind, so she needed some fresh garden soil and a nice layer of mulch as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I just rebuilt the chicken run for the season, and I've been making additions over time, like this cute little garden bed where they can peck at some greens without destroying everything so that they can get greens. Chickens love greens. Another addition I've been wanting to make, I saw online this really cute little like chicken swing just for some extra stimulation for my ladies. Unfortunately, they aren't able to free range because of our dog Bruno and because they destroy the gardens, so I want to make sure I give them plenty to do in the chicken run. Honestly, the swing was so easy to build, but I think the hardest part is going to be teaching them how to use it. Let's see what happens. On to the next project. So this year, I really want to prioritize growing an overabundance of squash. And to really maximize the space that we have in the garden, I am installing some new cattle panel arch trellises. They are so easy to build, very cost effective, and very sturdy, perfect for growing massive squash. For my last project of the day, I wanted to get out and introduce some of my marigold seedlings into the garden. We just experienced our last frost a few days prior, so now was a great time to introduce them. So I went in and planted them. I think they would make really great companions next to these Brussels sprouts, so in they went. Good luck, little marigolds. I've never planted them with Brussels sprouts, but I have no doubt they're gonna look really nice together once it starts filling in. With that, that wraps up all of the projects I had in the garden. So the very last thing I wanted to do was head on down back to the greenhouses and enjoy the sunset. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this glimpse at what a day at Redleaf is like. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop an abundance down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to help out the channel, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks for watching.